Wait, Tuscan was up, so that means something basically just one-shotted Tuscan, and then has now just one-shotted Spencer as well. Alright, you beautiful people, Kanzi here, bringing you episode 44 of Kenshi Age of Blood and Sand Iron Man playthrough. In this episode, we are expecting the attack from the Southern Hive. The attack seems large enough that it will just overrun us when it comes through. So what the plan's going to be is I'm going to use Lidus to tail the attack for a while. This will hopefully mean that environmental hazards, so things will attack them, so like big things, if they go through verge they'll get scorched by the laser beams, stuff like that, just to try and whittle down their numbers before they get to our base. In the meantime, what we are doing is we're just recalling everyone from the attack on the Southern Hive, trying to get everyone healed up, and had to put in a bunch more battery banks so that we can keep the healing pods going for when the attack kicks in. We have caught them going through verge. Hopefully a couple of these lasers will thin out their ranks, because at the moment there is so many of them that if we try to fight them, we will just get overrun pretty much straight away. I guess you could call it almost like hit and run or guerrilla tactics at the moment, because in a straight up battle we stand absolutely no chance. So we got to hope that their numbers get thinned down before they come to us. We're still having to go through healing everyone because everyone is still dinged up from the raids that have happened when we've been away and from returning from the Southern Hive. They have seemed to got caught on the rock face just outside our base, which is buying us a little bit of time, and this little cheeky chappy here, Spencer, has put up one hell of a fight. So what we're going to do is we're going to capture him and then see if we can recruit him. We're expecting to lose so many hives anyway that recruiting him I don't think will make a massive difference, but I've been pretty impressed with how he's done so far, so I figured he deserves a place within Lidus's hive. Not the best time to join Lidus's hive, since as I am expecting us to get wiped out, but details. It's an Iron Man playthrough. We'll take the losses when we take them. If we survive, we survive. If it's the end of the playthrough, well, it's the end of the playthrough. We can try to survive, which I reckon we have a good chance of doing just because of the way the AI is. They aren't very good at wiping everybody out. Also, with how we have our healing set up, it means that once our first guys go into fight, everyone else comes off their jobs and heals them. So most of the time we do have a healer left up and about. So most of the time we will be getting healed even if everyone is knocked down. The chance of people bleeding out is lower than it normally would be, but it still doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I did pull out the slave rescue crew to try and intercept them, but as we came round I think it rejigged the pathfinding and now they're making their way around the side of the base. So now we just got to get back to the base before they get there so we can have some sort of battle lines formed. Not that they make a massive difference in Kenshi, but it does mean we can bring more numbers onto the Alpha Strike than they can, which will give us an advantage going into the fight. But this is it. This is the first attack from the Southern Hive. If we can defeat this off, they will launch what is called the final attack, which is considerably bigger and has more special characters and a considerable amount of Praetorians in. In this attack, I think they only have one special character, which we'll keep an eye out for because he will have some pretty tasty gear that we want to get our hands on. It is the Hive plate that we saw in the first episode, and it is a masterwork, but it's better than a standard plate and offers better protection. So getting our hands on that would be a very good asset to put into our defensive hives. Thankfully the guys coming in aren't particularly high level and don't have very good equipment, so Lance and Lidus with their cleave attacks are able to do a crazy amount of damage. Now that Made 2 folding sword that Lance has is actually super OP. I don't think it would be. I didn't particularly like the sword, but it is just crazy fast attack, and then the cleave on it is mental, and that there is their special character going in. So we're going to try and take him out because he's going to cause a lot of damage otherwise. And the way the Southern Hive are so dangerous is they have a crazy high armor penetration on their weapons and very high bleed damage. The issue being with that is they don't need to get many hits off to start knocking you guys' stats down quite a lot. They don't do a massive amount of damage in a straight up fight, but once they start getting a series of attacks in, your guys will start to slow down, their stats will begin to drop, and then they will just pick you apart because of their numbers. What we're going to do is we're going to take everyone off their jobs, which means they're going to be able to get involved, and they will prioritize healing our guys down because some of the jobs are set so they don't come off, other jobs are set so they do. So this way we will get all of the hives that we can running medic, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to start losing limbs and losing hives in this fight, because then we are going to be in a terrible situation going into the second. This one is stretching us pretty thin. We are going to hold, I reckon, and we're doing quite well. Nippy's doing his job very well, but then that's what Nippy does. Nippy just runs around and ruins people's days. They still have enough numbers to be able to gang up on my hives, but as the time's going, their numbers are starting to thin. As their numbers thin, their main advantage goes, and then we are going to be in a good situation to start taking them down. Because if my guys aren't chain locked, then they can get some attacks off. I'll need a little bit of crude micromanagement on my part, and then we should be in a good situation to be able to start bringing this back. The issue I have noticed, and it's an annoying one, is I got my guys on my turrets, but they end up just keep on shooting Nippy, which is an issue. So what we're doing is we're treating Nippy like a little pit stop. We're going to pull him out of the fight, heal him up, and put him back in, because his regen will keep him going. I'm surprised about Tychus going down. Tychus is one of my stronger hives for sure. I thought he would have been in the fight a bit longer, but the guys in the armor are doing their job really well, and all their job is just to stay up and keep the other guys bogged down, whereas my main group are in generally lighter armor, and the reason for that is if they're in lighter armor they can do more damage and they can attack quicker. So this way I have my tanks, and then I also have my damage dealers. Their special character is now in a situation he cannot win. First thing we'll do is we will go and loot that armor off him as soon as we can, because that is going to be some serious kit. And that is some very nice armor there. So we're going to give it to William, because William is the captain of the guard. So him being in some thick armor and being able to stay in the fight is going to be good for my defensive crew. A few of them are getting back up as the fight is now waning on, and they're getting healed up, and first chance I get we are going to need to start to heal them. What we're also doing is we're just going to colour some of our armour, and we also have the final assault on its way. It came whilst the other attack was coming, so it's in Flats Lagoon, so we are not going to have much time to heal up. So we're going to need to use these healing pods and the beds at the same time, just trying to get everyone into some sort of situation where they can fight. And in that time of healing, they are already back around the ledge. That's their attack. It doesn't seem particularly big at the moment, which is a little bit disappointing. I was expecting an absolutely massive army coming through. So I'm not sure what's happening, why it's not going so big, but I'm sure it's going to be one challenging fight nonetheless. We're going to get everyone ready again, and then we're going to try to get the alpha strike off against their group whilst their numbers are thinned. Same plan as before. If we can get this alpha strike off, we will be fighting them on even terms, or even with greater numbers than they have. In a one-on-one fight, my guys are better trained and better equipped than they are. Generally, they do have some serious powerhouses within this group that we need to be careful of. But trying to fight them whilst there isn't as many, like at this moment, we are in a good situation. We are going to start having guys go down. Yeah, I'm already 3 down in the town guard and 1 down in my slave rescue, which I'm quite surprised about. I thought they'd last longer, but they do have the Praetorian Royal Executioner, who is insane. His power level is better than Lidus's once you take into account that he has some stupidly heavy armor on. If Lidus was in that sort of armor, he would not be nearly as good. So that guy there in the red swinging his big sword at Nippy is far better than what Lidus is. So he's going to be one of the main targets to take down. I will try to get Lidus to focus him down, and hopefully, just due to how much blunt damage Lidus's Leviathan Slayer kicks out, he should be able to do some damage. But as you can see, Nippy and Lidus are both fighting him and doing very, very little damage against him. And his attack speed is absolutely insane. So we might be in a bit of trouble. I'm going to pull Nippy off so Nippy can try to fight off the people that are trying to get a third party in on the fight. And this hopefully will buy Lidus enough time to be able to focus down the Executioner. Because if that guy stays alive and he takes down Lidus, there is essentially no one else in my colony that will be able to do anything. Ray would be able to tank for a while. The issue is that Ray just doesn't have the dexterity to be able to attack the Executioner quickly enough. So in a one-on-one fight, the Executioner would always beat Ray. But then that being said, if he can beat Lidus, he's definitely going to be able to beat Ray. I'm not going to lie to you guys, this isn't looking good for us. Most of Slave Rescue is down. Most of the City Guard is down as well. Yeah, so most of my good fighters are already out the fight, and they have a serious number of guys. The elite drone guards that they have sent in are really good. I definitely underestimated them from the last fight, because the last fight the guys came in and we just cut through them. It wasn't an issue. This time around they are far better and stronger and better trained and better equipped than the last guys we fought. So this isn't an impossible situation, it's not, but it's not going to be a good one. And our main ace in the hole is going to be trying to keep Nippy alive, because their bleed damage is going to keep him out of the fight for a while. But if we can heal him up each chance we get, and then Nippy can come back in, and he's going to be able to take a couple guys down before he goes down again. So it's going to be a war of attrition, which the Southern Hive will have a massive advantage against us over, but as the only strategy we can have. Our saving grace is that we do have the healing pod. That healing pod, if we end up being backed up into the base and we can fight from the station house with the healing pod, alright, and Lidus is down. This is not the greatest of situations. So we have Lance is still up, Tychus is still up, and Ray is still up, and pretty much everyone of note other than that is down. So we are not in a great situation. We are going to pull Ray back to try and heal up Lidus. Phobo is going to try to cover them as much as he can. He's a good little fighter, but at the end of the day he is only a worker Hive, and he is in leather armor, so he is not going to be able to buy them much time, but he brought them enough time. So yet again, photo for MVP. We're going to try to pull Lidus back now so that we can get him into the healing pod. If he's in that healing pod, we should be able to get him back up into a fighting state. But he's going to have to go for a fighting retreat to have any chance of getting there. And the issue being, he has his legs done in. So if he's going slowly, they are going to keep causing him damage, and he's probably not going to be able to get there before he gets knocked down again. Each time he gets knocked down, it's about 30 seconds knockdown time. Most of the guys are in a decent situation because my guys were able to go around to heal up. If we're lucky, they will stay down. And yet again, Lance is just absolutely tearing things up. That character has really started to prove his worth. He wasn't much use for quite a while, but since he's had that May 2 sword, just the attack speed on it means that he can stay in the fight so much longer than what he used to be able to. So his attack's getting really good, his dexterity's getting really good, and for a heavy weapon it attacks crazy quick. We have Ray trying to fight these guys off, but these are the elite drone guards and they are just too quick for him. Also from the damage he's taken, he is just not able to attack quick enough. But as you can see, once he gets an attack off, he can do some serious damage, but we can't count on those attacks to keep us alive. So it is going to be a matter of moving forward and then moving back, trying to get healed up, and then get guys into the healing pod, cover them whilst they're healing, and then move back out and hope that we don't draw the whole Southern Hive attack force onto us, because if they follow us into the station house when we're healing, we won't be able to heal. It's as simple as that. It will be pretty much game over. Then it will just be a slow defeat of guys gradually getting bleeding damage, and then like death by like 1,000 cuts. And it is going to be a slow death for this Hive, but at the moment it's kind of looking like it's going to happen, unless we can pull out the miracle and this healing pod works as well as I'm hoping that it does. We have Lidus into the healing pod now. It's a small victory, but it is one of the only victories we've got so far. As you can see, he's healing up crazy quick. Thankfully we put in the new battery banks, which is going to keep this thing charged up for a while, because the power it uses is absolutely mental. We've only got a few light wind generators which is powering it, so battery banks are going to be super important to try and keep it working. But Lidus is pretty much healed. We can send Tychus up, swap out, get Lidus back into the fight, get Tychus healing, and then hopefully we'll be in a pretty good situation to be able to use the station house as a staging ground to push out and hopefully take our base back. Don't want to jinx myself, but so far we haven't lost any hives, which is amazing. This means that if we can stay on top of it and we can use the guys that we have around to do patch heals on the guys that need it the most, we should be able to keep as many of them as alive as we can. We are pulling Ray back now, so Ray can jump into the healing pod as well. So then I have my 2 Praetorians back into the fight. I haven't quite figured out how I want to use the Praetorians yet, whether we have them in the base and then trying to take the base back and take out any targets of opportunity, or if we're going to try and push out and then heal, well, rescue any guy that can be healed up so that they can be brought back into the fight as well. But what we're going to need to see is we're going to need to see what the Southern Hive is going to be and what the Southern Hive's doing, and then move according to that. It looks like Ray didn't make it, so something did catch him, and they are now pushing into the station house. So there's quite a few of them. Lidus isn't in the best situation, but hopefully he can keep it clear until Ray comes. Wait, Tuscan was up, so that means something basically just one-shotted Tuscan, and then has now just one-shotted Spencer as well. Yeah, that's not great. So safe to say that Praetorian Royal Executioner is definitely something I need to keep a Praetorian on, or one of my guys in the heavy armor, because that guy, I think it must have been him, has just taken down 2 hives, and both of those hives had toughness around 60 and they're up in the fight, which means he must have done over 150 damage and just basically just killed them in one shot, which is a little bit brutal, but kind of like I said, the Southern Hive attack is particularly difficult to take down. We do have some more people up, which means a lot of them are going around healing. We do have Nippy, he is fighting the Executioner at the moment, but that Executioner just does a crazy amount of damage. So I'm going to need to try and keep my guys away from him as much as I can and just get as many people healed up as we can. So as we can see, the Southern Hive is starting to slow down. Their guys are taking damage, but we have the healing pod, and with that healing pod hopefully we can keep our guys alive, keep our guys in the fight, and we'll just go 1 in, 1 out and just keep pumping guys into this fight until we have superior numbers and we can overrun them. Because in a one-on-one fight, that Royal Praetorian Executioner has been shown to be able to kill, well, yeah, he literally did. He just killed 2 of our guys, but he can take down Lidus and he can take down Ray. So we're going to need to be careful and just keep an eye on our guys with very low health. And that was close. Oh, he must have been a prince in the miners for some reason. And Heavy is now down. He's probably my second most important hive after Robo, because he is the guy that makes the weapons. Thankfully, we've got pretty much everyone equipped with the weapons that we need, so it's not a massive hit. We're going to take the Leviathan Slayer off Ray so he can use his katana, because it's I just need the speed, I need his dexterity to be high, and I need the attacks going off quick just from the sheer amount of people he's fighting. The Leviathan Slayer was good when he was on full stats, but now he's not on full stats. I kind of need him to have the speed advantage, and also his katana is crazy good, super quick, and does a crazy amount of damage. It might actually be better than the Leviathan Slayer, but the Leviathan Slayer is just such a cool weapon. I like to use it. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I do need to bring the episode to an end here. So thank you very much for watching episode 44 of Kenshi, Age of Blood and Sand. I have been Konzi. All your likes, comments, support and subs have been amazing. You guys are awesome, and join me next time to see how the Southern Hive attack ends.